Welcome back to the Punch channel. Well, as you can see on the board, I have the setup complete for the tank cemetery scenario from the game Armored Knights Case Blue Gone Bend by Grognard Simulations. So this is the intro scenario to the game, and it depicts a defensive situation with elements of the 3rd Motorized Division and 60th Motorized Division in this area, trying to hold a line roughly right here. They are going to be attacked by the 28th Tank Corps in this area, the 158th Independent Tank Brigade right here, and the 131st Rifle Division that starts off in this area right here. Note that the 39th Tank Brigade, part of the 28th Tank Corps, is over here across the river. They will have to come across. So the game lasts a total of, I believe it's 11 turns over 2 days of game time. And it's an interesting situation. The Germans are dug in with Hedgehog 1s and Hedgehog 2s along this line. As stated in the setup, they have a number of 88 millimeter gun companies that are in support, so they are well prepared. The major problem here is that the Soviets are in excellent supply. They are in combat supply every turn of the game except the midnight turn overnight. Whereas the Germans can only go into what's called KG supply, which is that I can take a subset, perhaps a third of the units, maybe as much as a half of the units, and put them into combat supply, but only starting at the noon turn. So the first 2 daylight turns, the 0400 and the 0800, there is no combat supply at all, and they're having to deal with the restrictions in there. Now, one other thing that I should point out about this scenario is that you can see that I've got the setup bubbles here, right? This is 131 Rifle Division. There's the confrontation line up here, and then there's a setup bubble for 39th Tank Brigade. That is about the extent of the setup instructions. Let's take a look at the setup instructions here. So I've more or less faithfully recreated these bubbles on top of the plexiglass here. And the instructions are, you put the 131st and the 39th in their respective bubbles anywhere you want. And you put the 28th Tank Corps, the 158th Tank Brigade, such that they have to be within, I believe it's 4 hexes of their start line, and they must exert at least a zone of control on every hex on the start line. For the Germans, they must be within 4 hexes, and they must exert at least a zone of control on their start line. Beyond that, there is no guidance. So what I'm hoping to do here is I'm going to note down the exact locations of these units, and I'm also using a letter notation here such that, bear with me, this hex, for example, will be the A hex, B, C, D, E, you can see the E, I believe there, F, G, and so on. The Germans have the same thing going for them, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then down here there will be additional letters to denote every location that we've got going on. Here's a K, for example. So my plan is to take the notes that I've created and create a default starting setup that, of course, may be modified by the player to suit their particular preferences, but at least it gives you a somewhat more deliberate starting point, I think. So let's zoom out here. So this is my entire setup. So let me describe what we're seeing here. I've got the map folded down to about 1/4 of its normal size. So this is, I want to say this is an 8 by, I want to say 17. Yeah, it's an 8 by 17 map. That sounds about right. These are each 8.5 by 11, so we have, I'm going to use the Soviet loss box to track everybody's losses since there are so few in this game. I have the turn track set up here as well, and I've taken the liberty of photocopying and then cutting down the air unit tracking charts so that I only have what I need here because I was running out of table space. But I can get the whole thing comfortably into about half of my table here. And of course, counters on the additional counters and markers on the side. So that's how I plan to proceed. Why do I have this? I have this on the table for a couple of reasons. Now that's interesting, isn't it? I'm a bit off registration here. That's okay, not critical. So one, I wanted to play the game again. The last time I played, I missed a die roll modifier that would have been applicable in many of the combats in the game, and so it would have, I think it would have changed the outcomes. It's a small scenario, so I should be able to play it rather quickly in just, I think, a few hours of play time. 11 turns, hopefully less than half an hour per turn, but we'll see how that goes. And that should be pretty good. Additionally, I'm working on a Vassal module for this particular scenario, and I wanted to be sure of what my setup was. So this is going to serve as a template. And I should have that out here in a few weeks, or should have it online rather in a few weeks, and for your viewing and playing pleasure. So that's what I understand. Plus, I like making the videos, and I'm hoping to do a little bit of live video play as I go along. Mostly, this will be short, the short 3-minute turn recaps. But I'm hoping that for a turn or two, somewhere in the middle, perhaps, that I will actually live play this stuff and go over the various calculations and demonstrate how the game is played. So that's what I've got going on here. That is pretty much everything that I think I have to say at this time. I would love to hear your comments below regarding the game system, video, etc. Like the video, of course, if you will, and we will see you guys down the road.